me, INFP, and I'm in the library room again. And I've been watching these videos by this guy. I'll link it in the description. He's made several videos that I've watched, like I binge watched. But there are two videos that stand out to me, and there's a third that is also kind of interesting. The first video that I wanted to comment on was his video about absurdism and how absurdism is coupled to INFPs. A lot of the absurdist and existentialist philosophers are INFPs, allegedly. Camus is considered the founder of Absurdism, and he's an INFP. And Kierkegaard is also kind of an absurdist, and he's also considered INFP. And I can see why this philosophy would match well with an INFP way of thinking, because it's kind of a chaotic way of thinking, but it's also, as opposed to complete nihilism, it does hold some kind of hope that nihilism doesn't really bring. So while we have Nietzsche and INTJs who are more on the nihilist scale, I think that you will find INTPs and INFPs on the absurdist line of thought, where basically there is no purpose to the universe. So either you decide to kill yourself, or you stay and you courageously keep going because nothing matters. Because nothing matters, basically everything matters. The fact that you are alive is such an absurd thought that you might as well live, you know? And that video, I really suggest that you watch that video. It's like any on steroids. It's like, that's basically how my brain is like all the time. So it goes pretty quickly, and he talks about all sorts of things about the world that are pretty amazing, but are also pretty scary. And that's how absurdism is. So the premise is kind of nihilistic, that there is no meaning in the world. There is no creator that we know about. There is nothing that we tangible in this world that we can prove, and we have no tangible meaning. And the nihilists, like, you could decide to assign meaning to something and to say that that's the truth, or you could decide that since there is no meaning, there's no reason for us to be here, so you die. Or you decide that that's kind of cool to live in such an absurd world, and you're going to just keep living bravely in the face of it. And I just love that line of thought. It makes me happy to think about that, because there have been times where I've wanted to take the route of, well, what's the point? There is no point. Why should I still be living if I have no meaning, no purpose in my life? There doesn't seem to be a purpose all around, because nothing makes sense, and we don't have the answers to anything. And everything felt empty, you know? But randomness doesn't need to feel empty. It can be exciting. I think that that's something that perceivers are really good at doing, is to keep persevering even though there is no direction. It's the lack of direction that propels you forward in a way. So I think that we do have an advantage in that sense, is that we are adaptable to that kind of line of thinking. I think that a lot of types would struggle with that a lot more because they haven't thought about it as much as we have, and because it would destabilize their whole worldview, you know? They'd rather talk about what's safe rather than what's interesting. We had a conversation here with Bufo Peregrinas, well, not only here, but on her channel, about how the weirdness and the complexities of life is what makes life interesting. And people who are dismissing that are missing out on a whole lot of life. So please check out the video that I have in the description. It's really quite amazing. He does use a lot of swear words, so be ready for that. But I almost cried. I cried at the end of the video. And I cry at like everything, but that was, I was like, wow, this really sums up how I think about things. So that is what I had to say about absurdism. It's not a very, I haven't researched this a lot, but I think that it's nice to think, you know, that even though that's why I have often this conversation with my INFJ friend about what is truth. And when I say that there's no truth, is that I don't really think that there is a truth out there. I think that everything is pretty much chaos. So while he's trying to find truth and finds meaning in that, for me, since I know I won't find truth, or I don't know anything, so I'm not going to waste my time trying to find a truth when there might not be one. I'd rather find my own personal meanings to things and find ways to keep going and to find out funny facts about the world that make it so interesting to be around. But yeah, so that's what I had to say about that topic. He also made some other videos that are pretty amazing. He made a video about language, which if anyone of you has seen Arrival, is how aliens can communicate with humans. Could they ever communicate with humans? You know, there's so much to humans, and then there are animals who also don't communicate in the same way. There are many different ways of communicating, and also it would, the psychology of aliens would be pretty different from ours. So how could we try to communicate with them? Do aliens even want to be communicated with? You know, that it makes all sorts of questions. So I really like that video too. I won't be making another video about that one, but I think I'll make a separate video about the one about consciousness and sensation, because that seems like a topic that me and a few other INFP channels have been talking about lately, about what is feeling and sensation, and why we go into sensory overload. So this video is more about why we go into existential crises as INFPs. It's because a lot of us have an absurdist way of thinking, and have a hard time actually finding an objective meaning out there. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Have a great day. Bye.